Yolanda Foster, one of the stars of the hit TV show The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She's been suffering from Lyme disease for 2 years.
Why don't we have proper diagnostics? Why don't we have a cure?
These are just some of the medicines I use in 2.5 years.
The worst part of this battle definitely was the treatment. I turned to my husband and I said to him, "Baby, take a good look at me right now because I'm gonna die."
I literally became bedridden last October, and I was in Los Angeles, and it was like literally like the worst time of my life. And I was seeing every specialist and like literally the top doctors, and they were just like, you know, they would so stupid. They would pull up their computer and be like, chronic fatigue syndrome, or why don't you try to get out of bed, Avril, and just go play the piano. It's like, are you depressed? This is what they do to a lot of people that have Lyme disease. They don't have an answer for them, so they tell them, like, you're crazy.
Her nightmare began while out on tour.
I woke up and had like night sweats, and I felt like I had the flu, and this went on and off for a month, and I saw my doctor right away, got blood tests, got swabbed, and they didn't really know what was wrong with me.
So when did you first suspect that it might have been Lyme disease?
Probably 2 months into having it.
I would really like to dedicate this award to all the teenagers out there that have really gone through what I'm going through and have suffered from this disease without an end in sight. I know what it feels like to not want to get out of bed from bone pains and exhaustion and days on end, and not want to socialize or be around people because the anxiety and brain fog just isn't worth it.
I want to talk to you about a disease that impacted me greatly when I was a teenager, Lyme disease. At the age of 7, my family took a little vacation somewhere on the East Coast. The only souvenir I ended up with on that vacation was a seemingly insignificant tick bite. Unfortunately, due to a failure in the testing protocols at the time, as well as doctors who did not know what to look for, I went undiagnosed and untreated. As I grew up, many unusual things went on. First, it started with severe joint pain. I walked with a cane sometimes. I passed out. I couldn't breathe. I had migraines. I was hospitalized with anxiety attacks. I thought I was just dumb. I had no memory. It took over a decade, a whole decade, for me to finally figure out what was wrong and get diagnosed. If I had known about the symptoms of Lyme disease, I could have prevented a lot of suffering throughout my teenagehood.
The Global Lyme Alliance is hope, and tonight we are honoring the person that, more than anyone I know, is hope for Lyme disease awareness, my mom. For your fight, for your passion, and for making your journey one that will help so many. I'm so proud to honor you with this award. I love you.
I truly wish life had given me this platform to share something much more fun and glamorous than this. But I proudly stand here today for all of my fellow Lymies whose voices can be heard.
It's time for me to just be vulnerable and share my story, even though truthfully it's really hard for me to have to think about it and talk about it. I was left in bed pretty much for 2 years. I thought at one point I wasn't going to make a record again, that maybe my music was over. Welcome to my studio. I don't really have a name for it. Let's just call it the Head Above Water Music Studio. I was on tour and I was so sick. I went to like every specialist in Los Angeles. For so long I didn't have an answer. Then I found an amazing doctor on the East Coast and was like diagnosed on the spot. And it was Lyme disease. Typically you get a tick bite. It really like weakens like everything, like your muscles, your strength. I did antibiotics for 2 years straight. I even had to take anti-malarias. I was stuck in bed, staring at the ceiling.
Avril's a very, very energetic ball of light. you know someone for so long to be a certain way, and then obviously whenever, you know, the Lyme came about, it took a very hard toll that I don't think anybody would ever even understand.
I felt like I was drowning. One night in my bed, my mom was holding me, and I thought I was dying, and I had accepted it. In that moment, all these song lyrics just like flew through me. All of a sudden, I had this song concept and all these lyrics. I grabbed my cell phone and I went into notes, and I was like, God, help me keep my head above the water so that I can breathe and rescue me. And like, my mom was so confused, like, who are you texting? And I was like, I got a song. And she's like, oh.
I crashed so hard. I thought my brain would leave me forever. I went from a highly functioning businesswoman to being bedridden and unable to form a sentence yet again. I couldn't even remember my birthday. How can I explain to you how this feels when your brain is neurologically affected by this disease? It's nearly impossible to explain because there are so many different ways in which it happens. It's as if the wires in the brain are not communicating or connecting with each other, and you're aware that it's happening. I felt very trapped and frustrated.
Trying to get out of the bed every day for my kids. Because I know they need me, I just can't participate, you know? I always kept such high standards of what I needed to do as a mom and as a wife. I've learned to surrender to the fact that I'm not, you know, that person anymore. I just don't know my body is strong enough to do it, you know? I know my spirit is. I just feel like my body doesn't belong to me anymore. You surrender to the four walls of your own brain and your own soul, and you just, you know, keep it together and stay alive.
It's terrible. It takes away everything from you, all the willing of waking up every morning and enjoying life. I mean, especially like I'm a very positive person, you know? I'm always see the bright side of life. And with this, it's like your whole body is against you. It's like you cannot drag yourself out of bed. You cannot do anything. It's very traumatic. Sometimes you cannot even like recognize people. And you know, going through the treatments also is very expensive. It just chunks of hair fall.
You lost your hair?
Yeah, pieces of hair, because some of the medicines are terrible. But yet I'm here, you know. I went through the period of that treatment that it was terrible. It was like 2.5 years of terrible treatment, but I'm here.
Not enough people know what Lyme disease is and the danger of being, sorry.
That's supermodel Gigi Hadid getting emotional addressing her personal connection to Lyme disease, a condition that affects her mom, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Yolanda Foster, and her two siblings, Bella and Anwar. On Monday, she competed on MasterChef Celebrity Showdown to win money for the cause that's so close to her heart.
They don't know the dangers of being bitten by an insect. So for that, on its own is amazing, but with $25,000, we can help with finding a cure. It can help so much.
My two youngest children, Bella and Anwar, were diagnosed with chronic Lyme disease in early 2012. This is my promise to you. I will continue to search the globe until we find a cure affordable for all. Thank you, Anwar, Gigi, Bella, and my husband, and all my friends. I love you. Thank you.